everyone. Good morning. Happy Friday. And it is kind of it's been a crazy week. I'm in the middle of working on a pretty big project that is going to be launching in January. And so I have noticed that for me, my time, I have to be very, very intentional with the time that I have. And so I thought I would pop on here live to just give you guys some thoughts about what's happening and the trends that I'm seeing sort of in business. And I hope I have permission to talk very candidly with so many of you guys today. And this might be a video you want to tag your downline in, especially if you know that they are maybe in a season of not moving forward, or you're not seeing growth, or you're wondering why your income isn't moving, or why it's so hard to be seen on social media. And I think it's simple. And I'm gonna get real, and I'm gonna be very, very vocal about what might be happening. This might be you, and you could be possibly doing this wrong. And if you are in a season of your life where you're willing to learn and you're willing to be humble enough to say, I think there is some truth there, I can guarantee that your business is going to grow. And I want to start by saying I have been in this season too. And for me, I am growing my business a little bit differently than I was a couple of years ago. But that isn't to say I'm not showing up consistently, I'm not setting goals for my business, and I'm not crushing them right now, because I am. So I want to tell you what I think is maybe happening where we might be seeing some struggle. And I have to tell you, the biggest gift that I feel that I can give anyone right now is my time. And so I am spending the next 10 minutes with you, telling you exactly what you can do in your business to start to see growth. So let's break it down. If you have found yourself saying, I am struggling with being seen, nobody is liking my posts, I don't know who to invite, people aren't listening, it's a busy time of year, I just don't know what else to say, it's time to grow a set and be 100% real with yourself and know that every single thing you're saying is probably an excuse. So we are going to get out of that excuse mode, and we are no longer going to play defense, like defending my business. We're going to be on the offense. So we are no longer going to say, yeah, but we are actually going to take action. And we are going to start using the cues that we're already receiving to really start to move our businesses forward. So I'm going to break this down into 3 things that I really firmly believe is why we might be hitting a roadblock in our business. So number 1, it's our content. So our content is information that our audience wants to see from us. Our content is not about us. It's about our journey, but how our journey helps other people. And the content that we're sharing adds value to somebody else. On top of that, we are very aware of the content that's doing well on our social media, so that we know if something is doing well, that theme is something that my audience wants to see more of. For example, I have been very, very picky this year about the things that I am posting on social media. I don't go onto social media and randomly throw up a post. I am very specific and strategic about what I'm putting up there. I had a post that did incredibly well that was about belonging. It was about tribe. So I know that is a theme that my audience wants to see. I put out more content like that. It's not the exact same post, but the big idea is there, that sense of belonging. Another one, I know that my audience wants to see my progress. They want to see the curves. They want me to talk about how I deal with my struggles with body image. I talk about that. My audience really likes when I talk about my life in terms of being a mom, hockey, and being a coach's wife. I give my people more of that. And I stick to only 2, or actually more. I stick to about 4 pieces of content that I know without a shadow of a doubt are going to do incredibly well on my social media. I'm going to talk about cancer. I'm going to talk about life in remission. I'm going to talk about sweating through cancer. I'm going to talk about dealing with the PTSD of cancer. I'm going to talk about all of that because I know that it's a struggle that my audience relates to. There's a part of my audience that connects with that. There's a part of my audience that relates to having curves and wanting to take care of my health without necessarily feeling like I need to get a six-pack. I'm going to give my audience more of that. I know that my audience really likes hearing the stories about being a coach's wife, hearing my kids and their messiness and craziness of being a busy mom whose kids are involved with sports. I give my audience more of that. And then the last thing I give my audience is tribe. They want to hear about tribe. They want to hear about community. They want to hear about my struggles with belonging. So I share those 4 things. Guys, I don't share anything else. If I do, it's a jab. It's a little bit of a recipe. It might be on my stories. But if you go to my grid, you will see I stick to those 4 themes because that is how you stand out on social media. You are known for something. My audience, I guarantee you, is following me for one of those 4 reasons and sometimes an overlay of them. Or sometimes they'll see me or they would have found me through cancer and now they're like, I really like what she's saying about tribe because I feel that too. But I don't complicate it. I really keep it super simple. I will talk about 4 things, possibly 5, on my social media. I listen to my audience. I look at what's being well received. And then if something isn't well received, I tweak it, I make adjustments, and I change it a little bit. So number 1, are you producing quality content where you know that you are listening to what your audience needs? Are you giving the audience what they want from you? Are you serving them? Are you adding value with what they have come to see you for? They have a billion options of who they can follow. They're only going to follow you if you're serving them what they came to see. Does that make sense? Are we getting what I'm throwing down at all? And I'm just sharing this because I know that this is why my Facebook is growing. I know this is why my social media is growing right now because I'm not diverting from those 4, possibly 5 things that I talk about. First piece of encouragement, ask your audience what they want from you. Run a poll if you have to on your story. Or, just look through your feed, look through your content. What is doing super well? Give them more of the things that are already showing you that they want to see. Second thing, and this is going to be mama doing some preaching right now. You cannot expect to grow a successful business if you are not consistently taking action in your business. You wouldn't believe how many times I see posts that go, yeah, I fell off the wagon, or I'm starting over, or yeah, things are really tough and I'm just going to continue to do this. And so you are maybe like inconsistent. So if you're inconsistent, why would someone trust you enough to believe that you can effectively coach them when you're not effectively coaching yourself? So I know that we all have this sort of like journey where we have to take a step back, or we maybe are like, okay, like this isn't, I'm a little off. Like I feel like I need to like open a personal development book and actually focus on my well-being and my mindset. Well, do that, boo. Like go ahead, like do that. You still have to show up for your audience. So at least once a day, I am posting. At least once a day, I am posting. And sometimes that means I go back to the content that I posted last year and I actually reshare, I tweak the content that I knew did well, and I repost that same idea. But we can't expect to grow a business if we aren't consistently taking action. And I don't just mean posting, okay? I mean, we are consistently inviting people into our challenge groups. And if we're growing on our social media, we always have people to invite, right? So if I know that I'm putting out quality content, people are coming to me, I can send somebody a message that's not like, hey, join my challenge group, but it's like, hey, I just wanted to take a minute to thank you so much for checking out my page. Just random curiosity, because I'm running a little bit of like a poll with my people, like how can I serve you? and ask them, like serve them, like actually say to them, what can I do to add value to your life? Like, what can I do to make this a better page for you so that you consistently come back? So it's also consistency in following up. Today, I know that yesterday was really busy. I was working Chic all day. I was editing. I was in this process. So last night, I went through and I wrote a list of everybody that I need to follow up with for my challenge group. And so this morning, that's the very first thing that I'm doing. I'm consistently going to follow up with the people that I've been talking to for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and just show up, because that's my job. I am consistently not just showing up, but I am showing people that I am the real deal by going out of my way to serve. If you aren't being consistent right now, nobody's going to be knocking down your door to actually join you. And consistency through the holidays is critical. I'm not just consistent with showing up on social media. I am consistent in my workouts. I am consistent in my personal development. And if you're like, well, I'm just in a season of hard and my kids are so busy and I have a lot, you have to be intentional with your time, everyone. You have to be super intentional with what you want. And the third thing is connection. And this is it. I mean, this is really what it is. Connection is where you can start to see conversion. If your people feel like they get you, that you see them, that you're speaking to their struggle, they will convert into consumers and potentially into people who are with you forever. Even if they've fallen off, if you're still showing the way, they're still going to come to you. So connection starts with your social media. It starts by showing people that you consistently show up, and the connection is formed when you start speaking to your audience. The last thing I'm going to say is I started to think about like this idea of an avatar, and instead of just making one up, I actually started to think of somebody in my real life that I would really, really love to help. And so she's this woman. My son plays hockey with her son, and she's beautiful, right? She's absolutely beautiful. She has this spark of a personality, and I can tell just in a couple things that she's posted and in a couple things she's said in group conversations that she's really lacking confidence in her skin. Like she's definitely like overweight. And I wrote out what the avatar, like what this woman is, because I actually saw her and I actually like felt her. Like I actually felt like I could feel like her struggle because I know it, right? And so she has this husband who's clearly like really, really in shape and takes really great care of himself. And not that she doesn't, but you can see that confidence. And when you play hockey with your kids, you're always around certain people and you kind of like put some things together. And so I started thinking, I'm going to speak right to her. Because in my head, I already know her. I've gone to her social media. I see what her like struggles are. I see her personality. She's quirky. She's funny. She has this great job. She works in NICU. I think that's what it's called, with the babies. And so I get this feel. I got to know her, right? And I'm like, I want to connect with her when I speak. And so when I speak, I start to think about her pain points. I start to think about objections that she might give me. I start to think about funny things that she connects with, that she would look at on social media because she's actually showing them to me on her social media. I see that. So when I take all of that into consideration and I speak to that one person, I am building a connection with them. And what's happening is, even though I have this one person in my head, there's a lot of people who are like her. There are a lot of people who are struggling with their weight, who are struggling with their marriage, who are struggling with being so busy with the kids that they've forgotten themselves. There's women who are struggling with spending money on themselves. So when I know that is that woman's struggle and I'm speaking just to her, it becomes kind of universal to many, many women. And so I can connect with them. Guys, I am speaking and preaching to you because I am very, very passionate about message. What your message is to the world could impact and change somebody's entire life. And I know that I have a responsibility to share what I was once introduced to and that has truly changed and impacted my life. And it's selfish of me to sit back and not take advantage of these three things and not do them well. And I know that I'm a teacher, so in my head, I'm analyzing everything. It was my job for years to take a piece of text and analyze it and look at it and look at the characters and take those characters and connect them to my students and let my students see how they can see the conflicts and the universal struggles and how it all comes together. And that's my job now as a mentor with what I do with Chic, with what I do with Beachbody. I am mentoring people on how to cultivate an environment where you are connecting with people. And sometimes that means you have to stop what you're doing and say, what can I do to serve my audience well? And start there. So my call to act for you today is, number one, analyze your content. What does your audience want to see more of, and give them more of that? What are the 3 or the 4 that you know that you stand for and people follow you for? And if you're like, wow, I'm literally everywhere, hone it in and focus on just those 4 things that you know you can speak really well to. I don't care if it's nutrition. I don't care if it's just like fitness through like hard times. I don't know if it's a struggle that you've been through that you can talk more about. I don't know if it's just your job or your marriage. I don't know what those 4 things are, but you probably know what they are. If you look at your audience and the things that you can serve them well with, they're probably already telling you what it is just by their engagement with you. The second thing is, if you have not committed to consistently showing up for your business, it's today. It starts today, even if it's inconvenient. It starts with running a poll on your stories, inviting to your challenge group. It starts with sharing a piece of your story that you believe your audience will connect with. And then you go again, and you go again, and you try it, and something fails, and then you don't get mad, but you get curious, and you say, how can I be better at that? How can I tweak that just a little bit so it's better? And then you want to cultivate that connection by thinking about who you can best serve and get so specific. Like, I know exactly who this woman is because I just love her. Like, I love her and I see her and all I want to do is help her. Like, all I want to do is help her. So I'm just going to keep speaking right to her. Just keep speaking right to her and it's going to happen. I know without a doubt because in my head I've said, I am going to help Megan. I am going to help Megan. Megan is going to be like, I got you, Katie. Like, I am going to help her. I am going to help her. I keep saying it. And in the meantime, all of these other women who are like Megan are like, I think Katie can help me, right? So I cultivate that area of connection. You guys, I want nothing more than for you guys to achieve your goals, right? With the business, we have to take action. We cannot be a team that sits back and says, oh, that was hard, guess I'm not cut out for it. No, that's bullshit. Every single one of you on this right now, because you're watching it, you're totally cut out for it. You got to take action. Those 3 things. You have to be creating killer content. You have to be consistent in the message that you are conveying to your audience, and you have to cultivate serious connection. If this video helped you, I need you guys to comment below. I'm more than happy to make it into a YouTube if your team isn't in here so you guys can share it. And also every Sunday and every Wednesday, I send out an email with content just for you. So even though I know that my business is shifting just a little bit, I'm in this with you. I'm setting goals. I'm doing the dang thing. I have got my my Christmas, I would just say it too fast, my cash for Christmas. I'm doing that right alongside you guys. So if you're not happy with where you are in the business, it's in your court. The ball is in your court. If you want it, you got to go get it. Okay, guys, that is all I got. I hope that this helped you. I freaking am rooting for you. I am rooting for you. I'm going to say one more thing, and it is this. I looked at Stephanie Miller, and we were at the Rise Up conference. And I turned to her, and it was Ed Milet. He was speaking on the stage. And I turned to her, and I said, you know, I've never told anyone this. I've never told anyone this. But when my grandmother passed away, This was 10 years ago, in January, and she passed away. I was teaching, and I was like 6 months pregnant, and I had placenta previa, and I was on this no travel, like I wasn't allowed to travel. And she lived 4.5 hours away, and I called the doctor, and I was like, I really want to be able to say goodbye to my grandmother. Really want to be able to talk to her and just see her. And he gave me the okay to travel. And I was there, and she passed away while I was there. I got to see her one last time before she passed away, and then she passed away. And I was out of bereavement days. Or I didn't get bereavement days because she was my grandmother, and I had run out of personal days. And in my head, I had a very employee mindset, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not allowed to go to my grandmother's funeral. And I didn't go. I actually didn't go to my grandmother's funeral. And I look back, and I don't know why it hit me now, like 10 years later, why that really bothers me. But my business now is about time and freedom. So I know that if you have a reason to work this business hard and to do it because it's worth it, those kind of things, those kind of situations where you go, I wasn't able to be present because I was working a 9 to 5. I wasn't able to be present because, or I wasn't able to do something with my kids because I didn't have the finances to do it. This is 100% in your control. 100% in your control, whether you work the business or you don't work the business. It is up to you, whether you do it or you don't. And if people start to believe that you are the person who can show them the way, they will come. But they aren't coming if you don't consistently show up and if you don't cultivate that type of connection. So if you're like, who am I talking to? Like, I don't even know where to start. I want you to think of me 10 years ago as a woman who was pregnant with her child, first child, and ran out of days to go to her grandmother's funeral. That is the kind of woman who would die for a business like this. And you are the one who can create and bridge that gap for someone. You are the one who can show somebody that this is possible. But it starts with you. You've got to show up for it, guys. You've got to show up for this business. You've got to be consistent. You've got to connect with people, and you've got to get out of your own way. All right, guys, I don't know why I felt so called to share that story with you, but somebody needs this. And you are selfish if you do not share it, okay? Love you so much. I will chat with you soon if it helped. If you want to share this with your team, I will make it a YouTube. I'm sweating because I'm super passionate about just this opportunity that was given to me so long ago. Okay? All right, guys, have a great day.